Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do, since we're starting the Python portion of the course, is you're going to want to download Python. Now, there's several different approaches you could take to do this. If you just Google Python, you're going to get pretty quickly to this www.python.org website. If you go to the downloads page, you can see all the latest versions of Python. This is one way you can do it. The thing about Python is that there's a lot of kind of auxiliary packages and things that you're going to want. And in fact, even getting started in this class, we're going to need a lot of kind of components to make this work. I think it's useful for us to kind of get a broad view here. One of the packages I want us to focus on when using the Python programming language is IPython. It's an open source platform that allows for interactive computing. It also allows for parallel computing as well, which is obviously very useful. It's very accessible, I think. You can use browser-based notebooks. The notebook, just like with R Markdown, combines your code, it combines text, mathematical expressions, plots. You can even have interactive plots like we can create also in our studio, and other things. So this is a really nice way to interact and use the Python programming language, especially when you're focused more on data analysis. Again, as we've talked about a lot this semester, I hope, is that we're not really, our approach here is not to create software and packages here, but our approach more is to become experts at using code to produce products. So I think this is a good approach for that. It's really, I believe, widely used among both researchers and applied data scientists, and I'm just integrating it into my teaching. Let me tell you that we're not going to drop seeing R now, nor will we fully drop our Markdown notebooks. I'll talk about that later. I don't want to get into that right away. First, we can just kind of focus on getting more familiar with Python, and then we can move on how we can interchangeably use both programming languages, which to me is a really exciting thing. Okay, so a little bit more about the historical development of Python as a scientific computing environment. It's a high-level, very general language that was originally developed in the latest 1980s. And one of the things that I think is really nice about this programming language is it's, to me, like R, very intuitive. In fact, I feel like since I learned R far earlier than Python, I think a lot of the similar concepts transfer quite well, and I'm sure it goes the other direction if need be. There's a standard library that comes with an installed packaging of R, and it allows for a lot of applications. We're going to be mostly dealing with data in Python. So we're going to use some packages within Python, such as NumPy, SciPy. NumPy and SciPy generally implement algorithms useful for data analytics. And Matplotlib, which brings graphics to the Python environment. And in fact, I'll focus probably on just those three at the beginning. IPython is, again, this open source platform that we're going to use to help us improve the interactivity of Python and be able to use that platform for doing the computing that we need to be able to use. One last note. For any of you who use, at this point we've seen R, but there's other programming languages that you may or may not use, such as Ruby or Julia. Mathematicians out there might be using Sage or Maple or Mathematica. Python developers have developed notebooks that will also bring in each of those programming languages. So I think that the IPython developers really are thinking very big picture, which I like. I think also is true about the our studio team, and that we're seeing a lot of notebooks now that have a lot of versatility and a lot of different directions that it can go. All right. So now that I said all this and I've shown you the page where you can download just an installation of the latest version of Python, I'm going to tell you, I don't recommend starting out to do it this way. Instead, what I recommend is that you Google Anaconda. So go ahead and take a little break from the video and Google Anaconda, get to this page. All right, so now that you've gotten to this page, you'll see that this is a very fancy schmancy kind of website that sells a whole kind of package that distributes Python along with all the other components. Okay, so since we're just getting started in Python, I think this is the easiest option. It's kind of, you can think of this as kind of a one-size-fits-all or all-in-one Python distribution, okay? So if you go up here to products, go to Anaconda distribution. All right, so it gives you a little bit here. Let's read what they tell us on the website. That seems worthwhile. The open source Anaconda distribution is the easiest way to perform Python, R, data science, and machine learning on Linux, Windows, and Macs. With over 15 million users worldwide. It is the industry standard for developing, testing, and training on a single machine and enabling individual data scientists to download packages. In fact, when you use this Anaconda distribution, you're going to be downloading those 1,500 plus Python packages that we're interested in, Python R. It gives you a way to manage all your library's dependencies and environments. This can get really tricky, and so this is a really great way to do it. It gives you access to these machine learning, deep learning models. TensorFlow is really important, scikit as well. Analyzing data. So I mentioned a couple of these like NumPy, Pandas. And then finally, visualizing results. I'll focus probably mostly on Matplotlib. So you can see the installers are available here. Here's a little kind of visualization of what you're going to be getting. So I recommend for all of you, of course, you are free individuals to do whatever you want, but I really recommend doing this. So using your favorite operating system, download. You do need to decide what level and everything you want, but I recommend, again, the 3.7, just like, oh, I don't remember if I talked about this. Some people prefer to use an older version, perhaps, of Python. Some people actually do prefer to use Python 2 versions of the program, and that's because when Python 3 was developed, there were some backward incompatible changes that a lot of people just did not appreciate, I guess, to say it the nicest way. So there are these two distributions available. If you're just getting started, I really highly recommend Python 3. Okay, so I'm imagining that almost all of you are going to use that distribution. I don't know of major differences except maybe the print function. I might think of others later, but we'll see if we run into any problems. That would be maybe interesting for me to know as well. Okay, so go ahead. I think this is a good stopping point for the video. Make sure you can get the full installation installed, that everything looks okay, and then you can start the next video.